this time in the Bono East region, because confusion rocked that delegates conference after bodyguards of the Atebubu Amanteng MCE Edward Ofori were denied entry into the hall. The bodyguards clashed with the NPP's internal security. Now, supporters who also accompanied the MCE to the venue were denied entry into the hall. That's the Atebubu Training College, which led to the misunderstanding between the bodyguards and the personnel from the party's internal security. Well, we are told that it took the intervention of the police and military men present to restore calm. My colleague, Parker Wilson, is at that delegates conference and joins us on the line. Parker, before we talk about the delegates conference itself, let's talk about this confusion that rocked the conference earlier.
All right, so Aisha, yesterday, before we got to the Gendis Junior High School, where the NPP held its Northern Regional Delegate Conference, we were told that some individuals who are not delegates had wanted to storm the conference or that secondary school and created some level of chaos. And so, based on that, the national leadership, who are actually leading this regional conference, decided to ensure that the people who are going to be at the event should strictly be delegates. And so accreditation should be given to all delegates so that they will have access to the conference room. If you're not a delegate, you will not be given the permission to enter and participate in the event. So here at Atebubu, when we go here, you realize that the party was actually sharing accreditation cards to members who are delegates. So shortly after that, we saw a man who drove at the time, we didn't know that it was the MP for Atebubu Amanteng. So he came with a number of individuals and some bodyguards. So they were going into the conference hall. Then the party's internal security, who are being stationed to ensure that only individuals with accreditation enter the conference hall do so, decided to block or prevent the bodyguards of the MCE into the main hall. Now, this created the controversy and misunderstanding. And Aisha, before one could realize, one of the guys just landed a blow at the jaw of one of the internal security guys providing security here, and he also returned the same blow. Then it degenerated. Then they started fighting. So some of the party supporters actually wanted to settle the issue, but the young men had already started making the confusion of fighting among each other. So the policemen and the military men who have been detailed on the premises to ensure that there is calm and security is assured, then decided to intervene. So they dragged, in fact, they held their waist. The bodyguards of the MCE, the police and the military held their waist and dragged them out of the conference hall. Some were actually resisting. However, the police and the military put together, tried, and then did their best to restore calm. So that was the situation here at the Atebubu Amanteng Conference.
That's quite some action there at the delegates conference. But indeed, where was the MCE himself when all this was going on? How did he intervene?
So the MCE, the moment the two, that is the internal security of the party, and also his bodyguard, had the confrontation, because he's the MC and he has been accredited, he walked away and entered the podium without saying a word. In fact, after the incident, I personally went to him to inquire from him what happened and whether indeed the boys are his men. He admitted that, yes, these are my men. And, well, the allegation was that those who have been detailed to station at the entrance of the conference room were also the bodyguard of his contender in the nomination for the MCE. Mind you, Aisha, this MCE was just confirmed yesterday amid a lot of controversy. In fact, his confirmation, we are told that the media was assaulted and people were not allowed into the conference room where they were having the confirmation. So there seems to be a bit of billowing fire between him and his contender. However, he was confirmed yesterday. So this, we are told, led to the clash between his bodyguards and the bodyguards of the other contender. He didn't say anything. He declined an interview, and he said that if he wanted to say anything, he would clarify or seek clearance from the national leadership before he comments on the matter. But however, he admits that the boys who followed him indeed are his men.
So then how was it all resolved at the end? Once they were pushed out, was that the end of it?
Yeah, so once they were pushed out, the doors of the conference room were locked. The police and the military were given clear instructions to ensure that the bodyguards of the MCE were far away from the conference.
Oh, my. So we've just lost Parker Wilson there. Telephone will not allow us to complete that. But we'll see if we can raise Parker Wilson back on the phone so that we can talk about the conference itself and how it turned out after that near misunderstanding or confusion between the MCE's bodyguards and the internal security of the NPP, which took the military and police presence, as you can see, for calm to be restored after that confusion earlier. Parker gives us the blow-by-blow account of how it all went down earlier at the Bono East Atebubu Training College, where that NPP Delegates Conference is currently underway. Well, so Parker joins us back on the phone. Parker, so let's talk about the conference itself. How then did it turn out?
Well, so the conference doors were shut to the bodyguards of the MCE. They moved away. Then they proceeded with the conference itself. In fact, the regional chairman of the party, who was given the opportunity to just welcome the delegates and usher them into the conference, expressed disappointment over what happened a while ago. His point was that the NPP is not a do-or-die party. And as a matter of fact, if there is any internal wrangling or friction, there should be a way to resolve the matter. It shouldn't end up into chaos and fighting amongst themselves. So he actually insisted that the military and the police should ensure that any individual who misbehaves should be dealt with accordingly.
Okay, that's my colleague Kwesi Parker Wilson there on the situation at the Bono East Regional Delegates Conference that is currently underway there, and later, subsequently, he'll bring us more